Hey guys, this is Adam with Psychedelic Invest, and today I'm going to be doing a short video on Field Trip Health's most recent earnings report, as well as the ketamine sector in general. So let's get started. I hope you guys stay tuned and enjoy the video. So for Field Trip, they reported 1.3 million in revenue. This met investors' expectations. This is very good. They also announced that they would be increasing their pipeline to be MDMA and to include MDMA and psilocybin, which is great. And they were going to be opening more clinics. Love to hear it as an investor. I am not invested in Field Trip, but like as an hypothetical investor, that's something I would love to hear. More clinics means more avenues towards revenues, more money. They did announce that they reported losses of about 14 million. I think it was 14 or 15 million. Let me double check for you guys. 14 million. So that's the only kind of if I wanted to be really critical, that would be the only thing I can hold against Field Trip in terms of like you guys are spending a lot of money. Is this sustainable quarter by quarter? Because $14 million in a quarter is a lot of money. But the reality is, this is an early stage biotech company. And number one, it's more than likely investors will support them through this as long as they keep showing all of these avenues towards revenue and keep increasing them. And number two is hopefully they will be able to get the money expenditure in check over time. So this is not a big red flag, but as an investor, just something I would be cognizant of and just to keep on my mind as a Field Trip Health investor. Field Trip is on the NASDAQ and their ticker symbol is FTRP. So now to move on to the broader, I guess, these psychedelic plays that have ketamine exposure. I'm going to focus on three specific ones today. The first one is going to be the biggest one, the big kahuna. It's Johnson and Johnson. So Johnson and Johnson has a nasal spray for something that they call S-ketamine. It's basically ketamine, but it's like their version of ketamine. And essentially what it is, it's a nasal spray that's used for suicidal ideation and depression. And it's shown effective at reducing those symptoms within 24 hours after taking it. So they have FDA approval on this and everything. I like this because it just legitimizes ketamine treatments for the average person. It's like you have someone like Johnson Johnson diving in and actually pushing and actually like creating medicine, therapeutic medicine from ketamine. Then it shows that there is something here, and that what all the psychedelic investors, all of us already knew. It's showing that I guess the powers that be, these big companies, are finally taking notice and actually doing something about it. So this is great. I'm really happy to see that. And the other company I want to mention, so basically Spravato is what it's called, is this nasal spray that Johnson Johnson made. So they're going to be using them in these clinical settings. So you'll have like Field Trip Health in their clinics, they could be using Spravato. Another company, Nova Mind. Nova Mind's ticker symbol is NVMDF. So Nova Mind also is a clinic based company. So they have all these clinics around, and they basically focus on psychedelic therapies for their patients. They actually use Spravato, which is Johnson and Johnson's S-ketamine therapy. And this is what they reported. This is as of January 28th, 2021. So it's a little dated, but so they've administered over 5,000 ketamine treatments and 2,000 Spravato treatments at the Novamind mental health clinics. So I like it. It's great. It's being used in a clinical setting. It's actually being used. And these are the companies where you could just basically get exposure to it. Novamind is NVMDF. Johnson and Johnson. I'll show you the Johnson and Johnson. You know what ticker it is if you want to get exposure. And then we have Field Trip FTRP. So Johnson & Johnson is J&J ticker. Sorry, I had to look that up because I do not know that off the top of my head. I've just never looked at their chart ever. But yeah, so that's basically it. It's essentially like these are the guys that are going to be, in my opinion, the quickest to revenue because they have these clinics. It's legal to medicinally work with ketamine in the United States of America, so that's a milestone that they've already surpassed. And I just, like I said, I just really like the the clinic model for ketamine therapy. And once again, when you're attached to when you have Johnson & Johnson in the mix here, that's huge. It's a big deal, and it's great for the sector. It's great for the sector, just like Kathy Wood buying into Atai was great for the sector. And Atai is also working on ketamine as well. You guys should look into that. I'm not going to go deeply into that. But bear with me while I pull up the charts. All right, so here I pulled up the Johnson & Johnson's chart for you guys. Look, if you want exposure to ketamine and you're really risk averse, go ahead. Johnson & Johnson. Let's look at the weekly chart. Yeah, I mean, like, you're not going to go so wrong. It's been on the uptrend. These aren't my favorite plays. I like growth plays, but if you want exposure to ketamine and you want a rather like less risky exposure to ketamine, go with Johnson & Johnson. All right, field trip. So it looks like the markets did not react that favorably to Field Trip's earnings report. And I have a couple guesses as to why. My guess will be because of the cash burn that they had, the 14 million. I think they're gonna think that it's not easily sustainable. Like they can burn through their cash reserves within like a year and a half or so. But I wouldn't be too worried. There are plenty of outside companies who are willing to invest in these companies to get some exposure there, and they can also raise money through investors as well. I wouldn't be worried about Field Trip. I think Field Trip has one of the better business models. And I like like I mentioned, I like the clinic model. I think clinic and ketamine, like ketamine clinics, is the fastest way to generate revenue in the US right now. Novamind. Look at Novamind. So we're going to look at the day chart. So it is down from highs. So we had highs of around 95 cents. Now it's at 24 cents. I think nothing fundamentally has changed about this company over the course of time. They have the clinic models. I think this company will bounce back with the psychedelic sector in general, but I just want to just show you guys. Here's my favorite indicator, RSI, and they are looking pretty oversold. As well as Field Trip looking very oversold, actually. So these are the two growth plays for the ketamine clinic setting. And ones that I personally have been tracking over time. I have no investments in either of these, but I don't think you could go wrong with either one. I hope you guys enjoyed my video today. Stay tuned, and next week we should have some more stuff. Maybe even sooner than next week. Who knows? This is Adam with psychedelicinvest.com. Thank you very much.